All right, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of Bears Film Room. My name is Dave. I cover the Bears for SM, joined by my good friend, co-host, and Chicago Bears writer for sportsmockery.com, Ficky. And we have a really fun show for you guys today. Bears look to go, make it 4 games in a row as far as their win streak. I was typing that on my latest article, and I could not believe it. I was just like, a chance at 4 wins in a row, Fick.
Crazy.
I'm not sure we've said that in the last couple of years.
Never.
Ever.
No. 4 losses for sure.
But absolutely, yeah. That goes without saying. I want to apologize. My voice, still kind of getting over some sickness. It's been that type of just month for me, honestly, the last month as far as going through some sickness. But we'll get through it. We have really just a lot of we'll get to our predictions, score predictions, our bold predictions and everything, but there's also just a couple stuff we want to get to as far as the trade market. Sounds like there's a lot of good news on the edge rusher. And running back might not be something the Bears might be looking into, which is hilarious because a couple weeks ago it was a focal point. Perhaps bringing in another back was almost felt necessary. And so we'll get to that. Sounds like Ryan Poles might be kind of seeing what that edge rusher market looks like. We'll get to that here in a moment. Before we do, like we always do before each show starts, Fick, how you doing, man? How's your week been? How you feeling about Sunday?
Okay, yeah. Week's been busy. Glad it's the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. Good. I mean, weekend's good. Glad it's here. Got some nice events going on this week. Obviously, Bears play tomorrow. IU plays today, and never thought I'd ever say that Indiana football is now the number 2 best because Miami lost last night. So now they're probably going to be ranked number 2 if they beat out Michigan State. So crazy times to think about that for our football teams. We have the Chicago Bears about to win 4, possibly have the chance to win 4 games in a row. And IU football is a top 5 school. So really can't complain on the football front. Obviously doing a little bit better than you. My voice is still here for now, but I mean, it's good. Really can't complain. How about you, though? Other than the sickness and the voice, how was your? How was Liam's birthday last week? How's your
good? Yeah, it's good. Birthday was great. The week's been good. Just the sickness is the only negative part. The Bears have been fun. A lot of fun to talk about. So really can't complain. I'm super stoked. I'm gonna, I'm just ready for really Sunday. Ready to kind of see what this team can do. It seems like a trap game. I see some comments there in regards to how we're feeling. It looks like the Bears have some really good odds. I think they're favored. We'll get to that in a little bit, but like 5 points. I know the line's kind of shifted a little bit, but I'm not used to the Bears really ever being that. I guess that many. What scares you?
Well, you said trap game, right? Every time I think of a trap game is when everyone picks one side. And you know how like the NFL does their weekly previews and they always give their predictions, like Adam Rink's part of people like that. Every single person picked the Bears. And I'm like, it never makes me feel good because the games we've won, right, was the opposite side, where it was like everyone picked against the Bears and then we ended up upsetting them. I know it's probably nothing. It's probably just the juju inside, just like, it doesn't feel right. But anytime I see it fully one-sided in any type of thing, there's always going to be some sort of upset. So I hope the Bears really respond and not take it lightly that they have this 3-game win streak. You know what I mean? And we'll get into the reasons why they couldn't win. But
I think
I'm right there with you.
I think where Ben Johnson comes to the forefront. I think his team and this coaching staff has these guys ready to go. Really motivating. It just feels different as far as what they're currently building, and we'll see. Like last week, we both predicted them to lose against Washington, and they won. So this week, I think it's probably safe to say we're both going to predict them to win. And these games are tough sometimes when you go into you have more talent. You're at home. And the NFL is just such a there's a lot of parity in regards to every single team. It doesn't matter if you're the Jets, haven't won a game. I mean, these games are still close sometimes. You can take on the Buffalo Bills and you might be the middle of the pack team and you blow them out or something like that. It's just the NFL is weird. We've seen that. We see it every single game, every single week. So I'm excited to kind of preview this one.
I just want to talk about this comment here from Plastic Rockets. He said, Saints always give the Bears a run for their money. It's true. I think the Bears have not beat the Saints in 10 years or something like that.
However,
it's been a long time.
We did whoop their ass in the NFC Championship game.
We did. That was a
That
big
was
one
like
to go to the Super
over a
Bowl.
decade ago. Like
Yes, it
what,
was. That was what
2006,
2007. Yeah,
Yep, Saints.
almost 20
We go
years
marching.
ago.
I remember that the newspaper that we got. Like I was looking that next morning. It was I forgot the headline, but I think it was Brian Urlacher holding the trophy. It
Yeah,
was
that's
just a
a
really fun
classic.
time. Yeah,
A classic game. It's
classic.
helmed
They
the
got a
NFC.
T-shirt and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This will be a fun one. You got a chance of going at being 4-2. I mean, really probably one of the hotter teams in NFL too. If you get to 4 wins in a row, man, really awesome stuff there. So
Also, thank you, Squeegee. 2008. I think that was the year after we went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, and then I think the Javon Wims drop comes to mind too with Mitch Trubisky in the playoff game.
That's the one where what's his name walked right off the field at the end. Hall
Jimmy
of Fame
Graham.
tight end. Yeah, Graham caught it and just walked off.
Caught it, walked off.
So yeah,
that should have been his last ever game. Honestly, I don't think it was, but
no, he ended up doing one more year. Went back to the Saints, but it wasn't really. He was kind of washed at that point. But
yeah, no, for sure. Well, anyways, I want to go ahead and we're going to get to our game preview, but like always, we kind of go through just the news and what we're hearing. And we have a article here that was posted again on sportsmockery.com, and it was in regards to really just what polls might be looking at in regards to the trade market. And ESPN revealed just some really good news in the latest intel that they dropped on where things stand. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, Vic. We'll kind of talk about some of these names here that are interesting. The list of names that could be available really couldn't be set up any better for polls if he wants to be aggressive in the next couple of weeks. I know the trade deadline's November 4th. So ESPN Fowler said other potential options I expect to be available on the trade market would be Rashawn Gary, the Packers, Jalen Phillips, the Dolphins, Bradley Chubb from the Dolphins as well, Jermaine Johnson, the Jets, Will McDonald, Jets, and Adrian Key, the Tennessee Titans. Now, if the Packers won't part with Gary, and I don't think they would, they have pass rusher Kingsley Ngarbe, a former starter who's relegated to a reserve role in a contract year. Pass rushers could elicit the most movement in the trade market overall, and I suspect a lot of teams will be involved to some extent. So this is good news for the Bears. I think to kind of go over some of the pressures here, Fick, Dio Adebingo has 8 total pressures on the quarterback this season. Phillips has 20, Chubb has 13, McDonald 13, and Johnson 9. All have more than Dio. So again, not the full picture, but there is just a lot of targets here. And with the cap as well, you kind of have to play here in regards to, I think the Bears are hovering around 3 to 4 million. He also could probably, move some things around in regards to some money. The cap is a myth in my opinion. So any of these names, are you wanting, we've talked about the trade market. Is it still too soon? I said if they beat Washington, I think they can be relatively more aggressive because then you just feel a lot better. You should beat the Saints 4-2. So I guess personally, I would wait until if you beat New Orleans, and then we have I think a week and a half, 2 weeks from the trade deadline at that point. I would definitely, I'm sure there's calls already going, but I think you got to be at least a little bit aggressive because a wild card is definitely in the picture. And then you look at the division. I think you're about game and a half out from first place.
Everyone keeps winning, but yeah.
Well, last week I think Detroit lost. That was kind of big. Obviously the Packers have that tie. And so actually I'll just bring up the NFC North standings real quick before I kind of hand it over to you, Fick, in regards to this. But yeah, Packers are 3-1. Lions are 4-2. Vikings, are 3-2, and then the Bears are 3-2. So just about a game or so back really from
it's anyone's division at this point, which is crazy.
All have a winning record.
Well, what do we expect anything less? I mean, it's the NFC North. Like this is the same division last year that had 3 teams. I think it was the first time in NFL history have 11 wins or more. It's like, come on, man. And you play each other. It's like, how does that even happen? But yeah, it's a tough division, but at least the Bears are in a position to where they can fight for that wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win it, of course, but they could easily make it. They have a chance to make it to the playoffs for sure by how they've played so far.
What do you think about the trade market right now? Are you still hesitant to make any moves? Are you waiting until maybe another win?
I think your philosophy makes sense, right? The more the better your team is playing, the more aggressive you can be, right? Because the trade markets will benefit you getting closer to a Super Bowl. Okay. It definitely depends on the trade and obviously the price. And that's going to be, you could speculate so much. So that's kind of like, the true barometer of should you make the trade or not. The best person on that list that I would love to trade for is Rashawn Gary, but that's not happening. There's no way the Packers are trading with the Bears, right? Like trading in the division is already very tough. I promise you, I don't know if the Packers and the Bears have actually ever traded with each other. They've, a person's left the Bears and then went to the Packers in the same season, like Adrian Amos. We've seen that happen. Julius Peppers off season. But yeah, you're not seeing a trade. So that one is like the one I was like, if there's someone I'd really want, that's the one I would go for. Plus, I don't think the Packers would be offloading Rashawn Gary. I think he's got 4 sacks. That's a decent amount. He's got a sack, almost a 0.75 of a sack.
I was shocked when Fowler put him on there.
Yeah, because that one's interesting. You don't trade for Micah to then trade away Rashawn Gary. You know what I mean? So that would obviously be the best one. Will McDonald's interesting. He's 26. He's decent. He's got 2 sacks already. I think PFF has him graded as like the 20th best in pass rush. Problem is he cannot run defend, and I don't think that works well in Dennis Allen's type of defense. So what were some of the other names on there? Again, so it's Will McDonald, obviously Rashawn Gary. Do you remember some of the other ones? I'm just trying to think through.
Yeah, I can bring it up here. I honestly, let me bring it up. But I think some of the names.
Another one here. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, and there is a Titans. What do you say?
No, I was saying to JR on Twitter. He said I want Phillips. That was one of the names. Oh, Bradley Chubb as well. I wonder how Chubb's been. He used to be dominant in the league. I don't think he's been as dominant, and he's up there in age for sure.
Yeah. So some of the names that ESPN said that would likely be available: Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins, Bradley Chubb from the Dolphins, Jermaine Johnson from the Jets, Will McDonald from the Jets, and Adrian Key from the Titans.
Jermaine Johnson's on the Jets. That might be an interesting one. I think he's a younger guy too.
Let me say this in regards to the pass rusher. We're going to get to the injury report, and I think there's a guy on here, Austin Booker, who has not played yet, and I think he's a wild card, man.
For sure.
It's like, I don't want to give up capital if you don't have to. Like, that's obviously a perk here. I think the Bears defense I feel like they're just a player away here from, like, I wish Jalen Johnson would be able to come back a little bit sooner. But either way, I think the pass rusher, getting another guy to be able to help Montez Sweat, because Sweat, unfortunately, I don't think is the multiplier that we thought he was in year one. It was awesome. I just don't think that's the level he can consistently play at. Not saying you can't have games where he may wreck it, which is, we need those. But for me, to get Austin Booker, who is that true wild card, that high motor, very similar to kind of Max Crosby, obviously not in that atmosphere, but just as far as the motor and energy that he could bring, and the tenacity that Dennis Allen has these guys playing with. I mean, they're aggressive. They're kind of boom or bust on defense. Like I said, they're going to give up a touchdown, or they're going to or they're going to get a turnover. But getting Austin Booker back, who was a full go, just like last week, but he's questionable officially, and I know we're going to go over the injury report. I think that right there, if he can play in the next 2 games, and you can see where he's at, and I'm sure it's going to be a little muddy because of that injury and how healthy he truly is. But if we can get something out of him, like
we won't
above average, edge rusher play, huge. So that means then you could just bring in maybe another rotational guy. You don't have to really give up a third or something for a veteran pass rusher. So I think there's some question marks with Booker. And
for sure. For sure. That is he is the key that can unlock the chest here, right? Because if he performs how we think he can perform, then you won't need to go out there and make that type of trade, So, and that's what you hope, because I don't really want to make a trade unless the trade is going to be so impactful. Because Poles has done a good job of keeping the future assets and just thinking big picture. This team, sure, playoffs possible. This is not Super Bowl contender team, caliber team
Ooh,
just
don't
yet.
you limit my Bears,
No,
Ficky.
just yet. No, we're still 0-2. We're still 0-2 against the NFC North. So we got to look. We're gonna need to see more. I'm very positive about the direction we're
I know.
going, but
Give me a
like
hard time.
next year, could that be the case? Absolutely. So maybe next year might be a more prime position to where if a star, like a real star, is disgruntled or doesn't like where they're at, that's when you can pull the trigger. So again, if we make a trade, I'm not going to necessarily be upset about it, especially if it is for the defensive line, as we've bitched and complained about fairly. That's the worst part of this team. But I just want to. I don't think we're in a position where we have to. We don't have to be desperate to where we have to make that move just yet. But if you better be on the phone figuring it out, like, because you might get a good deal, right? If you can get Jermaine Johnson for cheap, I wouldn't be mad about that.
He is. I know for a fact, Poles, that's their job. And I think he's one of the more aggressive GMs, which has been a shocking kind of thing from him. I didn't think he would be aggressive based on the way he, kind of answers some things, especially when he early on and when he came to Chicago. But I mean, we've seen it time and time again, and it doesn't always work out. But I think the Bears win on Sunday or tomorrow. There's a real opportunity here, I think, where Poles midweek could even make a deal. That's my gut feeling here.
That's definitely out there. Before we move on, though, Dave, we got from Daniel Jones, Patreon member as well. Appreciate the super chat. Love the beautiful dog. Afternoon from London Jets. Looking forward to the show. We appreciate that. And then he said, Ficky, I loved your article on Sweat. Huge game tomorrow. Now, I do want to thank you, first off, Dan Jones. Thank you for the $10 super chat. We really do appreciate that. Thanks for watching from across the pond. I know it's a little bit later for you, but hopefully this is adding to your wonderful Saturday. I did write an article on Sweat yesterday, and I think the Sweat conversation is kind of interesting, and it goes to the trade market, right? Because I think if we weren't paying Sweat $98 million, how we would view Sweat would be much different than how we view him now, because he's being paid in the top 10 contract value, right? As a top 10 edge, and he's not playing as a top 10 edge. I think people are like, he sucks. He doesn't suck. He's definitely an above average edge. He's a top 20 defensive end. He's just right now not playing like a top 10 defensive end, right? Unfortunately, what happened was when we traded for him, which is unfortunate, but when we traded for him, he played like a top 10 defensive edge that year. And then he got paid such in a way, which makes sense, that reflected his play, right? So you can't even blame Poles for making that move. You traded for him, and then he showed that's who you got, right? It seemed like a win.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, last year, injuries didn't do well. And then this year, like it's kind of hit or miss, right? Sacks, which isn't the full barometer of how good an edge is, because sacks, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that lead to a sack happening. He only has one. It's not great. He's on pace for 3. I'm sure he'll be more than that by the end of the season, but it's not looking great. His pressure rate, though, it's not horrible. It's at like 14%, right? That's above average. So you'll take that. That's probably like top 20, top 25. And then I think it was like his time to throw rate, or like, how long it makes a quarterback throw the ball, right? It was in a decent area as well. So I think just overall, and I'll shout out to this. His run defense is pretty good. Like, I think he graded out for PFF as the number 1 run defender last week against Washington. So he's got some things about him that, are positive. I think the problem is just that price tag and what the expectation is for, how he's performing now. I think he's probably, at least in the past 2 seasons, if you count last season and this year, he's performing like a top 25 edge. So he would start on any NFL team, right? So don't get that twisted. But is he performing like a $98 million man? Unfortunately not. Can that change? Absolutely. There's a lot of football left. There's a lot of his contract left. The only problem is he's already 29. So there's just some stuff you kind of have to weigh in. It doesn't mean he can't get better, and it doesn't mean his season can't improve. I'm not going to put a ceiling on that, right? Especially if he did have major injuries and he's coming off of that. And last week's game, if it was anything like last week's game, that's a good sign because he balled out against Washington. So, but overall, I felt like it was a good kind of a look to take at, because that's obviously the weakness of this team. And I think, Dave, you said it perfectly. We thought he was going to be that multiplier, right? To where everyone, because of Sweat, everyone else was going to, then their floor would have been raised. And we're just not seeing that. And maybe that is because he isn't going crazy on his end, right? Maybe he was, teams would focus more, a lot that goes into it. But I just feel like since Daniel Jones brought up that comment, and I wrote the article yesterday, and we're talking about trading for defensive linemen, I think that was kind of some good context to bring into maybe why we're not seeing some of the performance that we'd like to see across the defensive line. Because again, the defensive line is bottom 5 in most categories in the NFL. So
Yeah, it's not ideal. It is crazy that he's 29. I was looking at that here. Former first round pick in 2019. 11 solo tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. We'll see if he can just have a good couple games in a row. I mean, those stats are going to go up. You
For
get a
sure.
sack this week, sack again, maybe, and then you get like a multi-sack game, two.
Yeah, it
You'd
can
be looking
change.
at 6 sacks midway through the year. A lot can happen here. We'll just have to wait and see. So,
For sure.
but anyways, let me see here. I know I want to kind of move on to our kind of our preview for tomorrow. Before I do, we are drinking our coffee. I know we talked about it the last couple of weeks. Super excited about our partnership with Even Blend, a Chicago coffee shop, and they just. I think what I'm drinking this week, same as last week, it's a high quality blend of cocoa almond and then brown sugar, and it's those the single serve cups. Very good, super easy. The best part, again, we're partnered with them. They also, a lot of the proceeds go to basically support mental health, and so it's really good cause. And I know we both enjoy our coffee. I'm surprised we didn't talk about it first thing in the morning. We always talk about our coffee, when we start the show. So I'm excited about this. It tastes amazing. And if you do want to support both Chicago and, of course, mental health and a great cause with Even Blend Coffee, we would really appreciate it. Code BFR for $5 off, and just give them some love, show them some support. And I know a lot of fans get a lot of messages about how much we all love our coffee and such. So super stoked to have that partnership with them and to kind of see what we can do and see what they can do to impact the community. So I just want to kind of give them some love. Appreciate the partnership. Absolutely. Check them out. Code BFR, $5 off. And I think that's a good spot. We'll go ahead and take our first break as well. And we'll be back with our official predictions and game preview for the Saints.
First off, thank you for watching the BFR podcast, the #1 show for the fans by the fans. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe, as it just helps our show grow and helps the algorithm get this show out to other awesome, amazing Bear fans like y'all as we're trying to grow this community. If this is your first time, also leave a hashtag New Face Gang in the chat. That's hashtag New Face Gang in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, you've watched over 100 episodes or anything in between, then you are a true OG, and we want to show you some love as well. So please leave a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Thank y'all for all the support for the #1 show for the fans by the fans, the BFR podcast. Now let's get back to the show.
Absolutely. Boom. Over 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel and our Apple, Spotify listeners. We're not forgetting about you either. We appreciate it. All that tune on no matter the platform. But let's get to our official game preview like we do every week, Fick. Let's go ahead and go, I believe, injury reports first.
Yep, we got the Bears injury report, long as always. It's a book at this point, I feel like, every week.
Yes. A lot of good stuff here, though. Vic, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, so as we know, Carlos Santos was injured with that right thigh contusion 2 weeks ago. He was out last week. Obviously, Jake Moody, we talked about all that. So he will be starting for the Bears this week. Noah Sewell is concussion. He got that in the last game, self-inflicted. Well, not self-inflicted, but from another Bears player trying to tackle him. So he got a concussion. So he's listed as out, and he'll probably be out. Yeah, friendly fire, exactly. And he'll be out I'd probably say at least one more week. Then we have Grady Jarrett. This one's interesting because last week he was out, and I believe the week before that he was out as well. His knee, he did not participate Wednesday or Thursday, but he actually participated on Friday's practice. So that is good news. Will he play? Maybe not, but that gives you hope for that he'll be ready to go next week. DeAndre Swift had a groin injury that came up out of nowhere outside of practice. Ben Johnson confirmed. So that was definitely scary hearing about that on Wednesday, especially after a dominant performance he had. So he was limited, though, on Thursday and Friday, and he is listed as questionable, but it actually came out that him and DJ Moore will be playing. So he is not questionable. Austin Booker came off IR, knee. He was full all three. He's listed as questionable, but he was full for all three. So it'll be interesting to see. They did release Tano Passingo the defensive end. So that move kind of signals to me that Travis Homer is going to be elevated to the 53. So I think he's going to play. And then good news as well, great special teamer, fourth or third string running back, Travis Homer. He had a calf issue. He was full for all week, so he's listed as questionable. And then Amin Agbagbamigba. There we go. Knee was limited, but he was full on Friday. I'm sure he will be suited up, a big special teamer as well. And then we have Jonah Jackson, who had an ankle, which obviously we need him to be well. He did not participate on Wednesday, but he didn't even go to limited. He went straight to full Thursday, Friday. So he's going to be ready to rock. And then DJ, everyone was really concerned, as you should be. He went to the hospital after the game. Reports came out. Obviously, this is speculation because we don't have his medical stuff, but it seemed like it may have been an injury, not necessarily dealing with like groin muscles, but more of the private area. And so they just had to make sure everything was okay. Obviously, that is still a part of the body and you want to make sure you're healthy, but he did stay overnight, but he made it back to Chicago the next day. And it seems like everything is good because he was out there practicing Friday, full participant. And like I said, they already announced that he will be a full go. So to be honest, list is long, but a lot of guys coming back. And really the only big one that's still out is Cairo Santos. Noah too, because Noah's actually he's had a pretty good snap share this season. So, and a concussion, we know how those are. Those are always scary. So hopefully he will give him another week or so.
Yeah, he's had some quality snaps for sure. I think it's interesting. You said they released who again? It was another linebacker, right? Or defensive end?
The defensive end, Tano, passing.
I think you said Travis Homer. He would likely play, but I think you meant like Austin Booker with that. I think that signals.
I meant Austin Booker. Austin
I thought so, and I think from what I've heard, Homer, good special teams guy. Also, I think kind of underrated, as receiving back too. So kind of hopefully get him back. It's looking really good. And I think the biggest thing that you hinted on, Adam Schefter reported, and that the Bears confirmed that DJ Moore and Swift are going to play. And I think the biggest one there, I love Swift. I love DJ. First of all, tough as nails. He is so underrated in regards to his toughness. And I'd love to continue. I think I've said it a couple pods ago. He reminds me of David Montgomery, where it's like, if you remember when Montgomery was in Chicago, he took some crazy hits, weird falls, falling on his head, and he'd be back like a couple snaps later, or would even miss next week. Just the toughness that both of those guys have. I think it goes very underrated with DJ, kind of like an Iron Man, and playing and as a receiver that's super, super. I think it's unique and almost kind of rare. And then Swift, though, this is the big one. You saw what he did last week. Kind of a game changer. He kept the Bears alive, and then was an outstanding game against Washington. So having him back, I think there's truly a talent drop off after Swift. Not saying Monangai might not become something, but Roshan and Monangai, I don't think they have the confidence, or the coaching staff doesn't have that confidence in them quite yet to, we're going to have Kyle run. He's going to replace Swift this week.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Right? No, he did look good. I will say that Monangai did look good against Washington.
Absolutely. I think he's a great in between the tackles. It's something that they found kind of that rhythm where it's like Swift way better outside.
Yes, for sure.
A little pitch or something. We saw it last week where I think they had
screens with
Swift.
They got it. Also.
Yeah, and they got that run game going. And so getting Swift back and him playing is so important. Especially, I know the Saints, we should win this game, but you don't have Swift, that's a huge wild card in my opinion. Huge. And so to get him back ready to go on Sunday, establish that run game early and keep it consistent, I think will be great for them. And then on top of that, it's just going to help. It's going to help the Bears get to hopefully that fourth win in a row. And so without him, I think it's more of not a toss up, but man, that line, the margin for error, I think is just a lot thinner. And again, shout out to Theo Benedict. I think he's also super important to why this run game looked a little bit better. And of course, our man, I think almost a star now, Darnell Wright. He's really coming into his own. So
yes, he is. He looks fantastic. He's been fantastic
overall. Vic, I think a pretty damn good injury report. Yes.
If that's the injury report every week, I would take that because we've seen the other side. I will take that any day of the week.
Yeah.
Now,
but I do need Brady Jarrett back.
Yeah.
Can we get him back, please?
For sure. I agree. It
For the
is
love of
funny, though,
God.
that we still have the longest every game so far, every preview, we've had the longest injury list. Even if it's people coming back or like they're ready to go, the list is so long. I mean, look at the Saints here. They've got 6 people on it, and only 2 are questionable. So you get Alvin Kamara, obviously, they're big Saints legend running back. Ankle issue, did not participate on Wednesday, but he was a full participant on Friday, so he'll be ready to go. Their quarterback, Isaac Yiadom, he had a hamstring injury, but he was a full participant on Friday. He's listed as questionable. He'll probably play. Chris Olave, who went crazy last week, he had a hip issue, but he was a full participant 2 days in a row. He's going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Alante Taylor was another corner knee issue, just like Olave. 2 full participants. He'll be ready to go. John Ridgeway, their defensive tackle, again, full participant 2 days in a row. He's listed as questionable. I bet he'll play. And then Devon Godchaux, who was just older defensive tackle. He just rested, you know what I mean? So, but if you see, there's only 2 questionables, but everyone was a full participant Friday. So,
yeah,
you're all ready to go. You're getting a full squad. So, one of the healthiest matchups, I'd say, so far for both teams, like match to match. So, it'll be interesting to see. The talent will really come out. I mean, obviously, every game it's about talent and matchups, but it is kind of good to see that there's no excuse on either side. It's just like our best against your best. Let's see how it rolls out. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, let's get to the team overview. And this is actually, for once, positive news on the Bears front. But let's take a look at the football
count. Say it again, Ficky. What do you say?
Yeah, a positive news on the Bears front for once. So, as you know, or let me share for new members here, the footballs is basically just an aggregation of data to kind of show you how well you rank in the NFL. So it's from 0 footballs, which means you suck in that category, to 5 footballs, which means you're the top 3 in that category. And then you can kind of see how they rank there. So big things to call it here. Always look at the opponent's offense. So let's look at the Saints offense versus the Bears defense. Passing, bottom 5. Rushing game, bottom 5. Blocking for the Saints has been awful, right? So they're not that great on the offensive side. I will say what they are good at is Spencer Rattler has actually been a pretty decent quarterback, and Chris Olave has been the Chris Olave that everyone's used to seeing in the NFL. That dude is just a dog. Ohio State wide receivers, just a fun tip for the future GMs out there. If the wide receiver came from Ohio State, you probably should draft him. So that's kind of the Saints offense in a nutshell. Oh, I'd say they have Shaheed too, number 22, horrible wide receiver number, but he's a speed demon and he's been pretty good. So Bears definitely have to pay attention to that. On our side, though, pass rush, we've talked about this. The whole trade talks was all about defensive line. The Montez Sweat article in Sports Mockery, you guys should check it out. All about how our pass rush is bottom 5 in most categories. Run defense did improve. Last week definitely helped. They held Washington, which was a top running offense, to a low number of yards per carry and limited basically their explosive plays, which was huge. Pass defense has been, I'd say, good. It's going to get better. Obviously, losing Jalen sucks. But the problem with our pass defense is they're definitely a lot of boom or break. They have given up 74% completion rate percentage, which is super high, right? That's like bottom 3 in the NFL. So it's like you can pass on them, but yet they lead the NFL in takeovers per game. So very boom or bust. They do a really good job in the red zone too, and third down. So that's what it is. It's like you'll move the ball on this team, but when it matters most, they end up getting a turnover or stopping you for a field goal. So you like to see the Bears defense improve, and I think they will. Having TJ Edwards, obviously, and Kyler Gordon back helps, but they are definitely a boom or bust type of defense, like you mentioned earlier, Dave. And then let's flip it. Let's look at the Bears offense versus the Saints defense. Bears offense has looked much better. Obviously, we now have a football now for rushing, right? Thanks to last week's performance. Hopefully, we need to see that run game continue. That's definitely been the weakness of this team. Passing has also improved. We gained another football there. We're about middle of the pack, which makes sense. What's actually super impressive is our pass blocking. Top 10 in all categories. We haven't given up that much sacks. I think we've given up 8 sacks so far, 7 sacks. While if you were to look at last year, I think at this point through week 6, there was one game we gave up 8 sacks in one game. So it's very night and day. Obviously, this is what we expected when you make a move for Jonah Jackson, Joe Tooney, things of that nature. And then also for the Saints defense, right? I know it disappeared, but they basically, for pass defense, is not good. They're bottom 10 in most categories. What they are strong in, just like how Washington was, is their run defense. I think they're top 3 when it comes to yards per carry. I think they only give up like 3.7, which is really, really impressive. So if we can run against them, this game will be out of the park. And we'll get to that in the keys of the game. But they're really strong there. And their pass rush isn't that great. I think it's just kind of been Chase Young. And I think he's got a couple sacks. But other than that, they really haven't done well. They're kind of like in the same category of the Bears. So overall, right, I feel like, you can get the run game going. You might have some stuff favorable for the Bears. And obviously that's kind of the case for most teams so far in the NFL. You get that run game going, it's very favorable on your end. Anything, though, from that overview that really stands out to you, Dave, or anything?
No, it's awesome. That's probably one of the better ones we've seen when it comes to Bears matchups. Typically, we are outgunned, outmatched on some of these. So statistically, I think this offense is coming together. The defense, I think, number 2 in takeaways, like you mentioned, it's really going to be fun. There's a lot of winnable games coming up, and we'll see what this team can do, especially over this next 4 games. So for me, I'm just super optimistic, trying to calm down a little bit because I think winning against Washington was huge. And we'll see if we can take care of business tomorrow against a team. You like I said, I think there's a gap in talent that favors Chicago, and you're at home, which I feel like we haven't had a home game in over a month. It's been so long since we've seen this team play at Soldier Field. So I'm super stoked to see. I mean, this team's 3-2. It's going to be rocking. And I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. So, we'll leave it at that. I think we're going to our keys to the game.
Yeah, we're going to go to the Vegas odds. We'll go to keys to the game. I do want to say this is the second matchup so far this week where we've actually led in the football count. I think we had 12 and they had 7.
Yeah.
And the only other matchup was the Raiders, and we ended up winning that one. So hopefully, right, obviously it could be a trap game. You got to go out there and show it's not just about stats. It should favor the Bears here.
I also want to just give a quick shout before we move into our Vegas odds here. We have over 3,000 across all platforms watching on a Saturday morning, 10:44 a.m. I know we're all getting up, drinking coffee. We just appreciate you taking your time in the morning to kind of tune in with us. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe. We appreciate it. I think up 40% of you that watch are not subscribed. So about 41%. So if you can, hit that subscribe button, stick around. We'll be going live tomorrow right after the game. Like we always do. So appreciate the support. Let's go ahead and see what Vegas. I kind of already know. I've been looking at it throughout the week, but let's take a look here.
Yeah, let's share with the class what Vegas has for us. Obviously, we kind of talked about this. The team is 1-5. We didn't even mention that. The Saints are 1-5 for a reason, right? The Bears are 3-2. They should be the favorite team. That's just how that works. And they are. They're favored about 4.5 points. Now, that's really about a 1.5 point favorite because you get about 3 just for the home field advantage. But still, we'll take that. Over under 45.5 points. And then the money line is obviously Chicago's going to be favored there. -225, which is actually a lot. So I know 4.5 points isn't a lot from a favor standpoint, but -2.5 from money line is pretty big. So Vegas is in agreement with us that they should be able to win this easily. If I'm betting, maybe I'm taking Chicago -4.5. I think they're going to win more than that. But I would not do the money line. The odds are not in your favor there. That's too big, -225. But I'd probably go the money line. Dave, what about you? Is there anything that?
No, yeah, I like the money line for sure. I'm gonna go over and under. I think the Bears are. I think we'll get to our scores prediction. I think it's over. I'll bet the over on this one for some reason. I know the Bears defense gets takeaways, but we also can give up some points. Spencer Rattler, we haven't talked about him. Kind of can sling it a little bit. We'll just see, man. It's kind of a wild card, but I'm gonna go over on this on points.
Yeah, and my bad. I said money line. I wouldn't do the money line because -225 is bad. I meant the spread. I think we can beat the 4.5. My bad. But I do like the over. If you look at both of our predictions, which we'll get to later, I think we're both over 45.5. So I think that's a good one to look at as well.
Yeah, the money line. I mean, if it wasn't the Bears, if this is another team, this one is you should win this. So it should be free money. It really
you'd have to put a lot down though
too. Oh yeah,
I think you'll hit, but -200 is just not. You're not winning much back. You know what I mean?
No.
If you want
a lot more risk,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the key matchups here, though. I think this is big. We've already kind of mentioned at this, right? And this was a key matchup for last week. It's our run game versus. Dude. Oh, Cam Jordan's huge, bro. So DeAndre, I'm going DeAndre Swift. I know it could be the run game versus the Saints run defense, but like DeAndre Swift himself is obviously carrying he's the workload, right? So I think if we can get him running and effectively establish the run early against this Saints run defense, then the play action, which we actually are pretty effective at, the high EPA, is going to be amazing. And the Saints secondary isn't that great. Okay. So I really think you get that run game going early and you get them tired, hit them with a play action. We're going to see a lot of explosive plays. And I think the game will be over by the second quarter if we can establish the run early, kind of like we did against Washington. So those are my key matchups. Dave, what about you? Oh, you're muted, Dave.
Might as well unmute myself. So I'm taking a look here. I want to see this Bears O-line continue to dominate. I don't want them just to be good, average, sufficient. Yep, Caleb has some time. No, I want them to be great. I want there to be in the run game like last week. You heard it on one of the nice things there. They said, at least that the booth did, was how big some of these like holes that Swift and the running backs, the Bears were creating by the offensive line. Also the play design. Ben Johnson's amazing. He's exactly as advertised as far as just the details in the run game, and the Bears are executing. So for me, I want the offensive line to dominate on both the passing and of course running game. I think they have the ability to do it. Saints have some players, but for me, I think this should be another. Yeah, we look at this and we're like, yeah, the offensive line is different, man. Like we saw Joe Tooney last week. He was perfect, essentially. Darnell Wright looked like a superstar, both in the run and pass.
Benedict played well too.
He's in start number 2. I want to see improvement there. So for me, I just want to see a complete domination from the trenches on that side. And I think they can do it, and I'm going to be disappointed if they don't. So
I think they can.
And if they've been good it won't be close.
And they've been good in, like we said, they've been good in pass pro. It's really the run game that's just been, missing. Now, Darnell Wright is the best run blocker on our team. So having him back from injury from last week, which we saw the impact of that, and then obviously switching out Theo with Braxton Jones was also huge as well.
That final drive with Darnell Wright, I've played it in my head a couple times, and every time I do, I smile because he basically shoves one guy with his left arm, and then gets to the next level and makes another block. And it just reminded me of almost like Penei Sewell a little bit, where it's like he's fast, takes up space, creates chaos, and just a great player. So I think finally we're starting to see that extension. And we've seen it before. It just hasn't been consistent. He's kind of he follows that up with like a stinker. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, wow, what an opportunity here. Go against the Saints. Continue to continue to like blossom and really just dominate games. I think the Bears offensive line has that.
What's most impressive though about Darnell Wright this year is that his run game has always been his strength. It's always been his strength. He's been a great run blocker. The where the stinkers would happen would be his pass pro. And this year, that's not the case. He's given up the least amount of pressures on the offensive line. I think he's given up the least amount, or the third least amount in the NFL amount of pressures. Like he is literally in that kind of elite category for. He's given up 0 sacks. Like less than 10 pressures through 6 games. That's pretty impressive. So now he's had a couple false starts and some penalties, but I'll take
injuries last year. Really, injuries kind of play a role in his career, Vic, and I agree with you said. But even this year, I think he's playing through an injury, potentially like a tear,
the elbow,
in his elbow. Yep. Obviously, they haven't disclosed anything, but there's a big old what does he have on there? Like
an elbow guard.
It's
elbow guard.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Let's keep it going. But I'm excited about that matchup and see what the Bears offensive line can continue to do. Huge opportunity for him.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I love the trajectory that this team is going. All right, let's get to the keys of the game. Again, kind of mentioned this one ad nauseum, but it's kind of been the weakness of this offense, right? So you get them going really dipping right now, and Spencer Rattler's, favorite safety net, because he's been getting a lot of targets to Chris Olave, especially last week. I think Chris Olave had like 16 or something targets. And then the big one, which kind of was the downfall of, almost made us lose the game last week, but it was the red zone, right? We shouldn't have Moody kicking 5 field goals. You just shouldn't, right? It's hard to win games when your kicker is out there trying to give you 5 field goals, because think about that. Let's say he makes all 5. That's 15 points. That's literally 2 touchdowns, guys. So your 5 trips only equate to 2 trips. And so obviously we know how math works. 7 is double the time, or 6 is double of 3. So it makes sense there. But the importance is I think they were, from a touchdown perspective in the red zone, I think they were only 1 for 4, so 25%, which is pretty bad. And before that, we were actually around like 50 to 60%. And so that dragged us down. And then another one that's not on here, which is important too, we went 3 for 10 on third down. And we were actually pretty good on third downs before last week. And of course we won, so that's great. But it's going to be very hard to win games if you're 1 for 4 in the red zone and you're 3 for 10 on third downs. That means drive stopped and you're only giving yourself the opportunity, if you're lucky, to get 3 points. So those are my biggest takeaways. Establish the run early. You got to convert when it matters most. And if you can do that, especially against a team you're supposed to beat, you won't make this game a competition, right? And you can set the tone early. So those are my big 3.
I think that's a really good point about converting in the red zone, not just field goals, because we saw it in the Raiders game where we got so many turnovers and we just could not get 7. And I think Washington too. Now the refs took a touchdown with that throw to Rome. Awesome play by Caleb and Rome. So yeah, I think you're right. You convert touchdowns this week, and you do it early. This game we could finally have a nice little peaceful watch as far as Bears games go this year, outside of the Cowboys game. So.
Because with the turnovers the defense is getting, we talked about second in the league, right? The Bears have been in very favorable field position, and the offense has been moving the ball well. So they've gotten to a point where they're a lot of times on the opponent's side of the field. It's just whether you turn that into 0 points, going for it on fourth down and not converting, which honestly hasn't been that bad for us. Ben Johnson's actually been pretty good there. Or, missing a field goal gets blocked, or you're only getting 3 points. You're just limiting yourself. And that will obviously unlock this team who's already top 10 in scoring offense to really being like, oh, watch out for the Chicago Bears and that Ben Johnson offense that obviously we knew it was going to take time. It's still going to take time. Ben Johnson said the best games are going to be played in December and January, which I believe, but that is kind of that missing key. You get that, you start converting on those big plays, teams aren't going to be able to stop you. So, okay, let's get to your keys of the game. I think you have some similar ones here.
Yep. I feel like sometimes I repeat these, but I mean, football is pretty simple sometimes, and
for sure.
Win the turnover battle. They've been doing this. I think that's why they beat Washington last week. Is Caleb took care of the ball, no fumbles. The Bears just were better. They were just better taking care of that football. So another one time, I think that it's really important against the Saints, where you are the better team. One of the ways to keep that same team in this game is to cough off the football. So. Other one, keep the foot on the gas. The reason I say that is I think the Bears are going to jump to a lead here. They start out quick usually, especially that first drive. But if you get up 14, you get up 13-0, something like that, you did against Washington, but you couldn't keep that foot on the gas. You let them back in it. Ultimately, Washington came back to take the lead. For me, you have an opportunity here. Just keep the foot on the gas. Win this game. If you're up 13, go up 20-0, go up 24-7. Just keep this game. Keep some distance between you and the Saints, because if this game's close, who knows what's going to happen? It's the NFL. So, and then early, establish the run game. This is just so important for me because I think this offense thrives when they're able to run the ball. This team is going to be really, really good. It's going to allow Caleb Williams and this offense, especially the receivers, to get open more and for some bigger splash plays. So for me, getting that run game going early and then just keeping it consistent. Do not abandon it. I think Ben Johnson, he hasn't really abandoned it per se like this year, but there's been some stretches where, especially early on in those first 2 losses, where you're just like, there was just no run game. So, however, they couldn't run the ball either. They're getting like 2 yards of carry. So for me, I would love to see this team just continue what they did last week. I know it's not going to be every week that Swift goes off for 160 total yards. But for me, I think there's an opportunity here to keep that going, especially early on. And those are my keys.
I think they're good. Obviously, you win a turnover battle. I think there's something about the likelihood you'll win doubles when you win the turnover battle, which makes sense, right? You're giving yourself one more drive compared to the opponent. So that's always going to be truly a great key. And then it's kind of funny though, right? This is the year of the Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson show, but we've literally almost every week talked about run the ball. And it is funny because when we run the ball well, actually Caleb shines more. So just kind of funny how that is, especially in this offense. And you see how the trends of the NFL running the ball just doing damages to this to defenses. So get that going. I think this won't be a real competition. And you made a great point on your middle takeaway about don't let it be a game. If you're up 3 possessions, you're up 2 possessions, keep that. Right. I know it's easier said than done, but don't get complacent. Don't let them. I know Washington's a good team, so that's not just like, oh, we kind of folded. It's, they're going to try to fight. But for a team like the Saints, who I would say is not on the same caliber or close to Washington, that you can't let them make this seem like they have a chance. So I agree with you on all of those. Okay, so we're going to get to the bold predictions and we're going to get to our scores. And then obviously we have one voicemail and we'll give our shout outs. But before we do that, we're going to get to our second ad break here. All right, we're going to get back to the episode real quick, but I had to take a moment to pause and tell you about something awesome that we have cooking up over here at the BFR podcast. And that is our Patreon membership. You can join our Patreon, the BFR Den, where we have a bunch of great exclusive stuff that happens monthly, like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more to come. I mean, we've got tons of features in there. We've got 2 tiers. We have our top tier, which is $10 a month, our Hall of Fame tier. What comes with that, which is very exclusive, is our private Zoom calls with our members. So every month, you're going to get a private Zoom call with me, Dave, and Jack, and we just get to talk about whatever, shoot the shit, football, life. It's a wonderful time. And then if you want to go to the lower level, we have our Rookie Grizzly tier, which is $3 a month. And what that includes is like the private Discords, the monthly giveaways, the free merch, all the events if we have coming up, things like that, access to exclusive merch that's only for our Patreon members, and any other cool features. You'll get that at the $3 level tier. And then with the $10 level tier, you will get the private Zoom call as well. Now, you can join for free. We do post our monthly calendars in there, so you can kind of see what we have going on each month. And we post our episodes there as well. So if you want to join that ongoing community, which we keep building up, please do so at the BFR Den on Patreon. Also, as well, we give a shout out to all of our Patreon members every single episode that we do. So if you join, we'll make sure to show you some love on every episode as well. So again, you can join the BFR Den on Patreon at the BFR Den on Patreon. And we just love the support. You guys are great. Shout out to all our Patreon members, and let's get back to the show. Absolutely. Yeah, feel free to join the Patreon. We got if you hop in now, we have our call. If you want to go to the 10 level tier, we have our call later this month, and our giveaways, all that stuff typically is around the end of the month. So you definitely still have time. And then also you get access to all the other cool stuff we have in there. So feel free. The link is in the description. The BFR Den. You can become a Grizzly like all the other awesome Grizzlies who are part of the Den. Shout out to y'all, which we'll get to a shout out at the end of the show like we always do. So appreciate all the support, all the love. Now let's get to our bold takes. All right, we got to talk about here. Looks like we're getting a little bit closer now. I know it's still early, but Dave, I've caught up. 2-3. You're 2-3 on the bold takes. I hit mine last week I said the Bears would get an interception. I wasn't sure how likely that was going to happen, but thank you, Jaquan Brisker, for picking off JD5. I appreciate that. I don't remember what yours was, Dave, but I think you missed on it. I think it was it over 300 yards? Yeah, I can't remember.
No. Yeah, just keep going. We'll talk about Jack real quick. And
yeah, Jack 0-2. When he shows up, I mean, basically 0-5 at this point, but the poor man can't even get one in.
My bold prediction last week was Caleb Williams over 50 rushing yards.
50, yes, and he ended up having 28, I think, or something like that. So close, but I honestly thought he could do it. So I thought that was actually a good bold take. Speaking of Caleb, I have him going for over 300 yards. He hasn't done that yet this year, so I still think that's a bold take, and I did not think he was going to do it against Washington. I felt like that was going to be too bold. But I feel like there might be an opportunity against this Saints secondary that's not so great. So I'm hoping again that he can do it. Holy cow. why is my stuff dark? Okay, there we go. All right. I think I'm back. But I think you muted Dave. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, my bold take is Caleb Williams 300. I'm sorry. I was shocked by whatever the hell that was. But Caleb Williams for going over 300 yards. And then yours is Bears score 30-plus points.
Yep. It gets to my prediction. I'll leave it at that. I think it's going to be fireworks at Soldier Field.
I agree. And I think if Bears get to 30-plus, then Caleb probably has 300. So I think we're working in.
He had 300 last week if that touchdown to Rome and then the Z doesn't drop that cross. That
Oh my
crosser.
gosh, that crosser. He's getting at least
He'd be
50
running.
if he's not going to the touchdown. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, and then let's get to the score predictions here. This one, I'm leading the charge. A lot of football left, though. Me and you both shat the bed picking against the Bears, and they won, which I'll be happy to be wrong there. But I'm leading 3-2. Jack. Oh, wait, Jack. I didn't update Jack's. Jack is 0-3. That thing. He also picked against the Bears. I got to update that one. And then Dave, you're 2-3. So a lot of football left. It's really close. We're really both on bold predictions and bold takes.
Yeah.
We are
just real quick. If you guys want there in regards to the trade market, we talked about early on in the show. I see some comments here on YouTube, Twitter, across the platforms that you guys are watching. If you want to go back, scroll all the way back to about 2 minutes into the show. That's where we start talking about just the article from ESPN in regards to the trade market and what the Bears pass rushers might be, some of the targets they might have in Ryan Poles, and see how aggressive he is. So we discussed that, about 10, 15 minutes discussion there. Really good. Check it out if you can. Just want to kind of address those comments here. I know we get some of those as we progress through the show typically. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, appreciate that. And there was a comment there, I think, from was that Jeffrey that was asking to, or Javante Terry.
Yeah,
so shout out to you. Yep, appreciate it. Thank you guys. We love that. We read the comments. We appreciate all of the engagement here. Okay, let's get to our actual score predictions. Obviously, we just showed that we were close, but let's get to what we think is going to happen. I'll go first here. I have the Bears winning 27-20. That's why I said take the spread of 4.5. If you feel like betting your own money on a Bears game, I wouldn't, because that gives me too much anxiety. But 7, I think we can win that one. Saints, this defense is definitely boom or bust, like we've talked about. So I can see them allowing 20 points. And obviously in the modern day NFL, that's not hard to get. So I don't think it'll be as close as what you think. I think the Bears will be up probably 2 scores. And then the Saints, in the desperation, they try to make it close, and then it's time's out. So I think it's an easy win for the Bears. Now, moving over to you, Dave. Oh, you muted.
Wrong.
Yep,
you have it wrong.
Whoops. Oh, nice.
Whoa. Just turn that off. Take that off. That is not what I had. Fick is setting me up, man.
Other way. My bad. It's the other way around. It's supposed to
33-25 Chicago. You had me shook. I said, what?
I was wondering why you paused, and I'm like, what? That looks right. No, that's the other way around. He predicted the Bears to pause 33.
Yeah, Bears 33, Saints 25. I think there's going to be some points here. I think the Bears defense is good, but sometimes they just give up touchdowns. So, and I think there might be one late, maybe in some prevent, because I don't think it's as close as that score says, but maybe at least.
We're pretty much the same, though, about a 7 to 8 point win. So I think we both feel that the Bears will be dominant here. So
absolutely. I think this is a good opportunity for Chicago to get a dominant win in some sort and just put some points up for Soldier Field. You're back at home. And that's kind of my prediction here.
Man, what a statement game, though. You really just kind of dominate at home to set the 4-game win streak. Dude, that'd be huge. And speaking of,
and it starts a stretch of 4 winnable games, in my opinion, even 100%. More. So
100%. And that's why my Monday headline is we're going streaking. So look, we're already streaking now, but you can get 4 and it's at home. And then you got some other winnable games on the calendar before you have to go through the NFC North gauntlet, right? Get these wins when you can, because you know how tough it is to win in the NFC North. I think there was a comment here as well. Let me see that someone was talking about why can't we win the NFC North? Or here we go. So this is from Spiceman66 on YouTube. Said, why can't we win the division, Fick? And hashtag OG. Appreciate you, Spiceman. I'm not saying we can. I'm just saying that the NFC North is really a toughest division in football, and we're 0-2 against it right now. Right? That's literally our 2 losses. We can bounce back. We should be. We can bounce back. We can bounce back, but I'm just saying it's going to be. If we get 2 to 3 wins in the NFC North, I'll be happy. That is not an easy one where we're going to be flying through. So that's why I say that. Also, Lions and Packers still look like top 10 teams. So it's going to be hard. Can it happen? Sure. But that's my Monday headline. Let's get to yours, Dave.
Yeah, you aren't dreaming. That is, when you wake up on Sunday or Monday morning and wow, Bears are 4-2, 4-game win streak. Not a dream. I think Chicago is real. If they win this game, a lot of things. I've had some questions throughout even the 3-game win streak. Can they win on the road? Can they win, with adversity, right? Can they win games ugly? Yes. They're checking all these boxes, answering all these questions that I have. Can you beat your demons? Washington Commanders, emotional game. You're on the road. there was so many things that I wanted to see this team do, and they've done a lot of them over the last 3 games. Washington was almost the last box for me. Now you're getting to a game where you should win. You're at home. Everything is pointing in a direction of Chicago where you should win this game. And there should be not, and you should not lose this one. However, in the past, we have seen Chicago lose a game like this where it's ugly and they just come out flat. And so for me, they win this one. You're 1 on a 4-game win streak. You've completed a bunch of like objectives, challenges. Like if it's a video game, they are completing every single level here. And so for me, take care of business at home and you do it in a dominant fashion and you're 4-2. I mean, dude, like I said, it would almost feel like a fever dream for Chicago. So,
or would it feel like last year before a 10-game losing streak?
That's true. But no, last year was way different. Last year's 4-2.
Well, our wins were barely, you didn't feel confident about your wins, and then your losses were ugly as hell. Like the Titans win, you're like, if that wasn't
the only win I liked was up in London.
Yeah, but it was it felt good, but it was against a bad team. Like the Jaguars and the Panthers were awful last year, right? Yeah. That's why they both picked.
And you barely beat Tennessee, but in a weird way.
Will Levis just gave you the ball. So
yeah. And like I said, there are some. I mean, you won some games that you probably, a block kick and then a game-winning field goal. But I mean, you did. I mean, they put themselves in those situations. They play good defense, complementary football. You're making the kicks. You're blocking the kicks. I mean, this is how good teams win. So
that's what we'll
blew out the Cowboys. You love that. That's why I'm saying another blowout win would be. You'd feel really good. Really good.
Yeah, so. If you can get a dominant win here, it staples that 4-win streak. Is not just it adds more context to like maybe this team is better than what people thought. So,
and then like I said, you win on Sunday, it starts that streak here. You got the Saints tomorrow, but then you got the Ravens. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I think it's winnable now.
Their defense is the worst, horrible.
Yeah, and it's in Baltimore, so that's tough. But then we have the Bengals, which. Joe Flacco, sure. Then the Giants.
If it's Joe Flacco from Thursday, watch out.
Yeah. So I mean, there are it's the NFL. It's tough, right? There's some variables here, and some matchups that will be a little difficult. But that's why I'm saying you win this one, you feel a little bit better, man.
Yeah.
You can then you can afford to lose against the Ravens, and then you can beat the Bengals, beat the Giants, and then you better get some revenge against Minnesota on November 16th. So
for sure. Look, the NFL, anyone can beat anyone, but I think the Bears have been doing a good job of putting themselves in favorable situations to make the season turn out to be more of a success than what we thought after week 2. So
sure.
Shout out to them. They're doing what they need to do. Dave, all your points were spot on. So
thank you, man.
Cool. Let's we're gonna get to the voicemail here. We have one that we didn't get to share from the end of the last show because it came in like right when we ended. So we'll play that here from Tank. We'll do our typical shout outs to our Patreons, also our Discord winners this week, which you all should join. We'll talk about that, and then we'll end the show. So let's get to this voicemail here from Tank. I think this was a post game one from the Bears thriller against the Commanders last Monday.
What's going on, boys? Bear down. That's all I really wanted to say. And those refs are absolute dog shit. As a former D1 football player, I've never seen calls that bad in my life, even at the D1 level, like D1 AA, not even a good D1. And those refs should never call a game again. They need to get investigated. They obviously wanted us to lose. That call on Theo Benedict might have been the worst thing I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. DeAndre Swift, I've always been a believer. Y'all got to stop hating on my boy. Let him cook. He did this last year versus the Commanders. He's going to keep on doing it for us. He's been playing good all year. Let him cook. Go Caleb. Go Chicago. Bear down.
Love it, Tank. First, I'll say Dave has never been the hater of Swift. That was his guy. I was more of the hater, so I've apologized.
Did he say me?
Well, he said you guys, so I just want to clarify. He was probably talking about me. Yeah.
But no, Tank, that's awesome. I did lose faith. Which is fair. I did lose faith. I think week 3 or 4, I was like,
3 weeks.
I was shocked. I was like, I was wrong.
I think that's fair. Look, it's the NFL is what have you done for me recently, right? So I think everyone's sentiment towards Swift was different, but we're also going to get the BFR, the Bears Film Room podcast. We keep it 100. When players are doing well, you get all the flowers you deserve. When you're
shout
not,
out to Ben Johnson too. He even said, he spends more time on the run game than the passing game, and it's showing dividends, and that's why making these changes, running towards Darnell Wright, Theo Benedict. I mean, there's a lot more. Swift is probably a good back in this league, if not pretty good.
For sure.
But when you have an offensive line like you saw in Philly, where these guys are winning those battles up front, Swift can have games, and just like last week. So. Yeah,
that's why when he was on the Eagles,
something about Washington, though. He kind of balls out against the Commanders.
Yeah, he's a Washington killer, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So DC, watch out. But thank you, Tank. That's awesome. Would love to know what D1 AA school you played for. That
sounded really badass, by the way. Washington killer. Sound like a serial killer.
Yeah, actually, kind of what he is. Might need to get that branded. All right,
I want Caleb to become the Wisconsin killer, dude. That would be sick.
We do need that. We do need that. Well, he's done it once this year, so let's see if he can get two more
times.
So, well, I guess the last game will be in 2026, but right? I don't even know when we play them. 16, 18, right?
No, it's this year.
It's still this year? Okay.
Yeah, so late December matchup.
Perfect. Love that. Let's see if we can go 3-0 on the year. But Tank, love the voicemail. Of course, if any of you guys ever want to send in a voicemail, see the voicemail line down here, speakpipe.com/the BFR podcast. You just use your phone. You just leave like a voice note. You record it. It gets sent to us. We play it on all of our post-game, pre-games. You can talk about, what's going on during the game. You can talk about after the game, before the game. You could send one in on a Wednesday, just something that came up. You had a question. You saw some rumors, whatever it is. The line is always open. Feel free to send them in. We love hearing what your guys' thoughts are. Obviously, Dave and I hear each other's opinions on it, but we love to get your guys' perspective as well, because we love the fans like y'all, because again, this is Bears Film Room Podcast, the number one show for the fans, by the fans. Dave and I are fans like y'all, so we love giving you guys the love and support as you show to us. We go through the highs, the lows of every Bears fan, just like y'all do. So just a shout out to y'all. You guys are awesome, and thank you for tuning in. Okay, speaking of shout outs, let's get through our Grizzly members here. So if you join the Den, the BFR Den on Patreon, you get a shout out every single episode. That's because you're fucking awesome. So shout out to our Grizzlies here. We'll start with our Hall of Fame Grizzlies, our top dogs. Michael from across the pond. We got Gage. I know who was in here. Phil as well. Shout out to Phil. We got Michael Berry Sr., Angie as well. Still waiting for that voicemail, Angie. We'd love to hear where your positivity's at. Daniel Jones, thank you for the $10 super chat, also from across the pond. We got Thomas Whitty, Tito, and then our man Dave. Shout out to all of you Hall of Fame Grizzly members. Can't wait for our phone call, our Zoom call later this month. That will be fire. But not just a shout out to our Hall of Fame Grizzlies. We also love our rookie Grizzlies as well. Alex, shout out to you. I know you're probably lifting somewhere as we speak. Chris, we got Ethan in here as well. Caleb and Jason. Appreciate all of you Patreon members. We love the engagement. You guys make this awesome. We appreciate your support. And again, if you want to shout out on every show, you can go to the Den. You can be a part of the BFR Den, become an awesome exclusive Grizzly. Like those guys get a whole bunch of features and just a bunch of cool stuff. So we're really building a community there, and we appreciate all of you guys that are there. Also, if you want to not only join the Patreon, we do have a Discord as well. And if you do join the Patreon, there's some special perks within our Discord, but our Discord's free. It's always active in there, especially during game days. We have a bunch of contests and cool shit going on in there. And we do have a contest going on, not only for our Patreon members. Theirs is a bigger contest, but we have a weekly score prediction contest for anyone that joins the Discord. You can go in there and just predict the Bears score, right, week by week, and you'll win a gift card to our BFR store. And so we actually had a 3-way tie this week, and all of them got gift cards, right? Want to show the love. So we have to give a shout out to the Discord winners. Bear Down, pound 0721. Shout out to you. We got Pearl Deck Nibbert as well on Discord. Shout out to you. And then we had the Big Easy on Discord as well. Shout to y'all. Already sent you guys the gift cards. You guys appreciated that, but I wanted to just give you guys a shout out. And we give a shout out to our Discord winners every week. So just go join the Discord. You can find it on our BFR Twitter. You can find it on all our socials. You can DM Dave or I. We'll send it to you. It's also in the show notes as well. But just a fun place to meet other fantastic people. Shoot the shit. There's all different types of convos going on there. A lot of fun stuff. So appreciate that. So final shout out again to our Hall of Fame and Grizzly members, all of our Discord members, all of our Apple and Spotify listeners, all of our YouTube listeners as well that catch us live or even after the show. Thank you for allowing this show to grow. We're already at 10K. It's been fucking fantastic. We do have a giveaway coming up for that as well. And again, we're going to keep giving back to y'all, the fans, the community that we're building here, the BFR family, because again, this is the number one show for the fans, by the fans, and we want you guys to feel that. And you guys you guys are the ones that make this show special. So I appreciate all the love and support.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and what do we got to finish up here, Fick, before we get out of here?
No, that's actually it.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess no, duh. We got to do the OG shout outs real quick. Let me go through that.
Okay.
Forgetting like the thing we do every show. My bad here. Oh, we do. Hey, shout out here too to my Ron Henderson 9476 on YouTube, new to the channel. We appreciate that. Again, thanks for joining the number one
Thank
show.
you, Myron.
Number one show for the fans by the fans, Bears Film Room podcast. We appreciate that, Myron. And then we got Cheese and Bear Pod with the hashtag OG. Appreciate that. Love that little Abby there. We got Gage here with the hashtag OG. Better be a blowout Sunday. You say that every week, and I love it. So appreciate it. Keep them coming, Gage. And then Plastic Rockets here with the hashtag OG Bear Down. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate you, Plastic Rockets. And I'm looking through here to see if there is any more. I don't think so. There is a question here, though, from Pravion Barry. The Discord is in the YouTube description, so you'll be able to click on that link, and it'll take you right there. So got a bunch of cool stuff in there. I don't know if you posed this one, though, but Blake loves your hat, Dave. So shout out to you, Blake. Appreciate that. I think we had some quick questions we can run through like we always do. We'll do a rapid fire here. I think it's only a couple. So we got Squeegee on YouTube that says, do you think polls could be waiting to see what our record is before the trade deadline? Dave said this perfectly. Yeah, I think so. The more you win, the more likely you're going to probably be aggressive in being a buyer instead of a seller. Anything to add on that, Dave?
No, I think that's right. I would wait. I would honestly, this game is a test for me, is a barometer. You win this one, he's making a move. I feel like that I feel it in my soul. You win this one, especially if you blow him out. Absolutely, I think he's going to be active.
Yep, I agree. Maurice on YouTube said, "Is Sweat a trade consideration?" I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be sellers here. We don't want to sell away our talent. Plus, if you got rid of Sweat, we have no one. No. Line. So that's not going to happen.
I think he's talking about like maybe trading him and then bringing in another edge as well.
Maybe I don't see that. I think it would be bringing in an extra edge to be with Sweat. The whole point has been like we only have Sweat. So Max Fire Fantasy Report said running back is our weakest position, in my opinion. If Swift is out, we're screwed. That's not a question, but I had that started. That's on me. So I appreciate that.
Swift is playing.
Yep. Here's from YouTube, KJ Frederick, who said, "What's up, gang? Is Swift playing this weekend?" Yes, he is. It's been confirmed. Yep. And then let me see if there's any other final things. I think that is it. We do have one more OG. I forgot to give a shout out to Kyler Villagomez, as always. Hashtag OG Bear Down. Let's have a game tomorrow. Smack the Saints and let's eat some victory ice cream. I'm right there with you, Kyler. Let's keep the streak going.
Shout out to Blake, though. Appreciate you saying you love the hat. And also there was from Pravian Barry on Twitter, what is y'all's Discord? It's in our YouTube description. Also, you might be able to find it on our Twitter or any of our socials. But I think more importantly, it would probably be in the YouTube description. If you want to check it there, you can go ahead and click the link and then join the Discord. So
one more question. Sorry. What are we looking for? An edge rusher, another running back? What are your thoughts? Go back to the beginning of the episode where we talked about that C feeds. We've spent about 10 to 15 minutes on it, but it's primarily focused on the defensive line. So edge rusher. Edge rushers. So absolutely. Awesome. I think that is it. Again, thank you guys so much. We appreciate all the support. Check out Dave and I's articles on Sports Mockery. Make sure to buy some Even coffee as well for your Saturday morning pods moving forward. Dave, what else you got?
Oh, yeah. Even Coffee. Again, we've partnered with them. Really, really awesome Chicago-based coffee shop. Supports mental health. Really just a great cause. And it's Chicago. Code BFR for $5 off your first purchase. I think that's all I have. We'll be back tomorrow right after the game. So subscribe on YouTube if that's where you're listening. The support's been insane. And like Ficky said, wouldn't be able to do this without sportsmockery.com. And, of course, check out our work over there both before and after the games. As we write about a couple articles a week. So I think that's it. We'll see y'all tomorrow and enjoy your Saturday. Bear down.
Peace.